for once, Angel Reese was actually picking on somebody her own size. Now, if I was to take bets in this, NaLyssa Smith versus Angel Reese, I'm putting all of my $2.47. I'm putting all of that on NaLyssa Smith. All right, I'm not sure it would be even close.
Angel Reese just walked into the biggest reality check of her career, and it came courtesy of NaLyssa Smith. You know that moment when someone finally stands up to the playground bully? That's exactly what happened when Reese tried her usual intimidation tactics on Smith during the Sky vs. Wings game. But here's what nobody saw coming. Smith didn't back down. Instead, she gave Reese a dose of humble pie that left the Chicago forward absolutely stunned. The technical fouls were just the beginning of what turned into the most embarrassing night of Reese's season. Comment, fire the baby giraffe, if you think Reese just simply has to go away. Let's go, NaLyssa Smith. NaLyssa Smith was playing tight defense on Angel Reese throughout the game. And man, when Smith is locking you up and blocking your shots, you know you just aren't ready for that kind of energy. Reese strutted onto the court against Dallas with her usual smirk, probably assuming she'd found another victim to intimidate. The Chicago Sky forward had her routine down: get physical, talk trash, and watch opponents shrink. But when she locked eyes with Smith that night, something was different. There was no fear, no hesitation. Smith stared back with calm confidence, and that should have been Reese's first red flag. It all started when Smith went for a rebound and Reese just shoved her, straight up shoved her, and then had the nerve to complain to the refs. And honestly, I don't blame Reese for expecting to get away with it. Referees have made it clear that shoving is practically allowed in her case. But this time, she picked the wrong one. The shove was blatant, a hard foul. Most players would have taken it and moved on. Not Smith. She had something to say, and whatever she said lit Reese up like a Christmas tree. You could see the shift in Reese instantly. Her posture changed, her jaw clenched, and she moved towards Smith like she owned the court. Both players got technical fouls as things started to escalate. The game's pace had already picked up, and when Smith and Reese began jawing at each other, the tension became electric. But here's where it gets really interesting. Smith didn't move. While Reese puffed her chest and performed her usual theatrics, Smith looked unimpressed, almost bored by the drama. The contrast was intense. Reese got louder, more animated, while Smith stayed composed and focused. It was the perfect storm. You know how bullies panic when their tactics don't work? That's what we saw from Reese. And let's not forget, last year Reese cooked Smith. What happened? Was it something about that Indiana Fever jersey that made her go extra hard? Was there someone on that team she wanted to impress? Because against the Dallas Wings, she's been nothing special. Maybe Smith got tired of seeing herself turned into a meme all off-season. Maybe she said to herself, next time I play her, it's not happening again. And the crowd felt it. The arena's energy flipped instantly. People standing up, phones out, ready to capture whatever drama was about to unfold. Smith's teammates? They didn't rush over. They knew she had it handled. And let's be honest, I don't think Reese would really want that to turn into a physical fight. NaLyssa Smith came off more intimidating than Reese ever did in that moment. Smith showed out. She was 6 of 12 from the field, played 27 minutes, scored 20 points, and had 3 blocks. And this wasn't her first run-in with Reese, either. These two have been jawing since Reese's rookie year when Smith was still with Indiana. Their tension had been simmering all season long, but this time, it boiled over. With cameras rolling and a full crowd watching, Reese couldn't just walk away without looking weak. She shoved Smith, and things escalated. Orique tried to play peacemaker, while Courtney Vandersloot looked confused about what was even happening. It all went down fast. What made the confrontation so satisfying was watching Reese realize she picked the wrong opponent. Her entire game is built around psychological warfare, and Smith refused to play along. You could see Reese's confidence drain in real time. Her body language shifted from aggressor to someone completely thrown off her game. This rivalry wasn't new. It had history, and that history made it personal. Smith knew what she was dealing with and wasn't going to be punked on national television. When the officials stepped in and handed out technical fouls, everyone expected that outcome. But only one player walked away from that with the upper hand, and it wasn't Angel Reese. Smith returned to her spot like she'd just swatted a fly, while Reese looked like she had just learned something harsh about herself. The commentators noticed, too. They pointed out how Smith was reading plays defensively, in better shape, and making smarter moves, while Reese shot 3 for 12 and struggled all night. This wasn't just two players clashing. It was about finally confronting behavior that's been ignored for too long. Reese had a moment earlier in the season where it looked like she was turning a corner. Fewer shots, more rebounds, better team play. But that was short-lived. What made Smith different was that she knew exactly who Reese was and refused to play her game. Let's not forget that Smith used to play for the Indiana Fever, the same team that drafted Caitlin Clark, the same organization Reese has thrown shade at all season. That adds another layer. For Smith, this wasn't just about her. It was about defending the culture of a franchise she still feels connected to. She wasn't going to let Reese disrespect it. And while fans might shout, "You gotta fight her, Angel," Reese didn't move from behind her teammates. Smith stood her ground. Reese didn't chase her. This was one of those basketball fights that's all talk. But the talk meant something this time. The history between them runs deeper than most realize. Smith had been watching Reese's antics since day one, and she came into this game with a score to settle. Up until the starters were pulled, Reese had just 4 points and 5 rebounds. Smith had 14 points in 19 minutes. The Fever won comfortably, and Caitlin Clark dropped 31 points and 12 assists on just 14 shots. Post-Olympic break, Clark was on another level, and Smith was right there with her. Defensively, Smith was locked in. She had clearly done her homework and knew how to disrupt Reese's game. She blocked shots, jumped passing lanes, and made life miserable for Reese, who looked more interested in drama than playing actual basketball. Smith's 14 points in 19 minutes say it all. Reese, for points. And yet, she kept that swagger like she wasn't playing like trash. Even after going 3 for 12, she was still talking, still strutting. At one point, she even elbowed DJing out of the way, yelling, "You can't stop me. I'm 4 for 13. It was embarrassing. Smith, meanwhile, was all business. Her time in Indiana gave her perspective, professionalism, and pride. She wasn't just standing up for herself. She was standing up for every player who believes in handling business the right way. And that's the difference. That's what made this game a turning point in their rivalry.